Welcome to the Spooky Stories podcast, where we share terrifying tales of horror and suspense. I'm your host, Andrew, and today I have 3 stories that will make your blood run cold. It's called The Haunted House. I always loved exploring abandoned places, especially old houses that had a history of being haunted. I was fascinated by the stories of ghosts, spirits, and demons that lurked in the dark corners of these places. I wanted to see for myself if there was any truth to them, or if they were just made up by people with overactive imaginations. That's why, when I heard about a house in the outskirts of town that was rumored to be cursed, I decided to check it out. It was a large, Victorian-style mansion that had been abandoned for decades. No one knew exactly what had happened there, but there were whispers of murder, suicide, and madness. Some said that the house was built on an ancient burial ground and that the souls of the dead were restless. Others said that the house was possessed by a malevolent entity that drove anyone who entered it insane. I didn't believe any of that, of course. I thought it was just a bunch of nonsense. I was sure that the house was just an ordinary, empty building that had nothing to do with the supernatural. I wanted to prove it to myself and to anyone who would listen to my podcast. I wanted to show them that there was nothing to be afraid of and that the house was just a house. So, one night, I packed my backpack with a flashlight, a camera, a recorder, and some snacks and headed to the house. I parked my car a few blocks away and walked the rest of the way. The house was surrounded by a high fence, but I managed to find a hole in it and squeezed through. The house loomed before me, dark and silent. It looked like a haunted house from a horror movie with its broken windows, peeling paint, and overgrown garden. I felt a chill run down my spine, but I shrugged it off. I was not going to let some silly superstition scare me. I walked up to the front door and tried to open it. It was locked, of course, but I had brought a crowbar with me. I pried the door open and stepped inside. The house was pitch black, and I turned on my flashlight. I also turned on my recorder and started to narrate my adventure. Hello, listeners. This is your host, and I'm here at the infamous haunted house. I'm going to explore this place and see if there's anything spooky going on. Maybe I'll find some ghosts, or maybe I'll find nothing at all. Either way, I'm sure it'll be a fun and exciting experience. So, let's go. I walked through the house, shining my flashlight at the walls, the floor, and the ceiling. The house was in a state of decay, with dust, cobwebs, and mold everywhere. The furniture was old and rotten, and the paintings on the walls were faded and torn. The house smelled of must and decay, and I could hear the creaking of the floorboards and the wind howling outside. It was creepy, but not scary. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary, just a lot of junk and dirt. I went from room to room, looking for anything interesting. I found a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, a library, and a study. They were all empty and boring. I didn't find any signs of life, or death, for that matter. I didn't find any bloodstains, or bones, or messages on the walls. I didn't hear any voices, or footsteps, or screams. I didn't feel any cold spots, or hot spots, or electric shocks. I didn't see any shadows, or orbs, or apparitions. I didn't see anything at all. I was starting to get disappointed. I had hoped to find something, anything, that would make this house more interesting. I had hoped to find some evidence of the paranormal, or at least some clues to the mystery of the house. But I found nothing. The house was just a house, and a boring one at that. I decided to go upstairs and see if there was anything more exciting there. I climbed the stairs and reached the second floor. There were more rooms there, and I checked them one by one. I found a bathroom, a bedroom, a nursery, and a closet. They were all empty and boring, too. I was about to give up and go back downstairs when I saw one more door at the end of the hall. It was closed and had a sign on it that said, "Do not enter." I was intrigued. Why was this door closed, and why did it have a sign on it? What was behind it? Maybe this was where the secret of the house was hidden. Maybe this was where the horror was waiting. I had to find out. I walked up to the door and tried to open it. It was locked, too, but I had my crowbar. I pried the door open and stepped inside. I wish I hadn't. The room was dark, and I turned on my flashlight. What I saw made me scream. The room was full of corpses. Human corpses. Dozens of them. They were piled up on the floor, on the bed, on the chairs, on the shelves. They were all in various stages of decomposition, some fresh, some rotten, some skeletal. They were all mutilated, too, with missing limbs, eyes, organs, and skin. They were all covered in blood and flies and maggots. They were all staring at me with their empty sockets, or their bulging eyes, or their gaping mouths. They were all silent, but I could hear them screaming in my head. I dropped my flashlight and my recorder and ran. I ran out of the room, out of the house, out of the fence, out of the street. I ran until I reached my car and drove away as fast as I could. I didn't look back. I didn't want to see that house ever again. I didn't want to think about what I had seen, or what it meant, or why it was there. I didn't want to know. I'm sorry, listeners. I'm sorry for bringing you this horrible story. I'm sorry for failing you. I'm sorry for being wrong. The house was not just a house. The house was haunted. The house was cursed. The house was evil. And I think it followed me home. We were cleaning the attic when we found a dusty box of old home movies. My parents, my sister, and I decided to take a break and watch some of them. We hooked up the old VCR to the TV and popped in a random tape. The first scene showed us having a picnic in the park. We looked happy and carefree, laughing and eating sandwiches. But something was off. I didn't remember ever going to that park. And the date on the corner of the screen was wrong. It said June 15, 2010. But that was the day my grandfather died. We were at his funeral, not at a picnic. We shrugged it off as a glitch and fast-forwarded to the next scene. It showed us celebrating Christmas at our old house. We were opening presents and singing carols. But again, something was wrong. The presents were not the ones we actually got that year. And the carols were not the ones we usually sang. And the date on the screen was wrong. It said December 25, 2012. But that was the day our house burned down. We were at a hotel, not at home. We started to feel uneasy and stopped the tape. We looked at each other, wondering what was going on. We decided to check another tape, hoping it would make sense. We put it in the VCR and pressed play. The scene showed us at a birthday party. It looked like my sister's. There was a cake, balloons, and a clown. But again, something was wrong. The cake had the wrong name on it. It said Happy Birthday, Lily. But my sister's name is Lisa, and the clown was not the one we hired. He had a creepy smile and a sinister look in his eyes. And the date on the screen was wrong. It said July 7, 2014. But that was the day my sister went missing. We were at the police station, not at a party. We screamed and turned off the TV. We realized that these were not home movies. They were fake. They were showing us what we wanted to see, not what really happened. They were hiding the truth. They were hiding the horror. We looked around the attic, feeling a cold chill in the air. We noticed a camera in the corner, pointing at us. It was recording. It had been recording all along. We felt a presence behind us, watching us. We turned around and saw him. The clown. He was holding a knife. He smiled and said, "Hello, family. I've been waiting for you." We screamed and turned off the TV. We realized that these were not home movies. They were fake. They were showing us what we wanted to see, not what really happened. They were hiding the truth. They were hiding the horror. We looked around the attic, feeling a cold chill in the air. We noticed a camera in the corner, pointing at us. It was recording. It had been recording all along. We felt a presence behind us, watching us. We turned around and saw him. The clown. He was holding a knife. He smiled and said, "Hello, family. I've been waiting for you." We backed away, trying to find a way out. But the door was locked. The windows were boarded up. The attic was a trap. The clown moved closer, his knife glinting in the dim light. He said, "You see, I've been watching you for a long time. Ever since you moved into this house. I've been living in the walls, in the shadows, in your nightmares. I've been making these movies to show you what could have been if you had a normal life. But you don't. You have me." He laughed, a twisted sound that echoed in the attic. He said, "You may wonder why I'm doing this. Why I'm torturing you. Why I'm killing you. Well, it's simple. I'm bored. I'm lonely. I'm hungry. And you're my entertainment, my company, my food." He lunged at us, his knife raised. We dodged, barely avoiding his blade. We grabbed whatever we could find, a chair, a lamp, a book, and threw it at him. He dodged, too, laughing all the while. He said, "Come on, family. Don't be shy. Let's have some fun. Let's make a movie. A horror movie. Starring you." We fought back with all our strength, with all our fear, with all our love. We fought for our lives, for each other, for a chance to escape. We fought until we had no more fight left in us. We fought until the end of the movie, the end of us.